Dr. Refaat Alareer by reciting Dr. Refaat Alareer poem in so many languages. I've seen some videos before, and they were amazing. Even if I haven't really understood a word of some of the languages, but it was amazing. It's just like listening to music. Actually, I have written few words, but in tribute for Dr. Refaat Alareer, if you would like me to read them,
Yes,
it
please,
would be
Ahmad.
amazing. Uh, 2 years have passed, yet it still feels as though Dr. Refaat is just down the corridor at the Islamic University, smiling, carrying his box, greeting everyone with that calm warmth he carried everywhere. He was really an amazing guy. I was never his direct student, but you never needed to sit in his classroom to feel his impact. In Gaza, Dr. Refaat's presence was larger than the lecture halls he taught in. He made you feel valued, seen, and believed in, even with just a few words. During my master's studies at IUG, Islamic University in Gaza, I came to know him not as the famous professor, you know him now, the famous poet, the famous writer. No, I knew him as the human being, a human being of rare kindness. He always met people with gentleness, as if he knew how heavy the world already was on our shoulders. He had this unbelievable ability to encourage without even trying. A simple greeting from him felt like support. A short conversation felt like mentorship. He was tough sometimes in classes. I didn't have any class with him, but it wasn't like a rude tough, but it was tough like, I care about you. I want you to bring the best out of you. I don't want you to just be lousy students. I want the best students. I want you to be the best students. Dr. Refaat taught Gaza how to tell its own story with dignity, with courage, with truth. He showed us that words can be a form of resistance, a form of healing, a form of survival. And even now, after he's gone, his words continue to walk among us. His voice still speaks for us. His legacy still guides us. What breaks my heart is not only that we lost a great scholar and writer, a poet, a storyteller, but that we lost a man who loved his people so much. His kindness, his humor, his humanity, these are the things I remember the most. Not everyone leaves behind a poem the world will remember, but Refaat left behind thousands of hearts that will never forget him. May his memory remain a light, and may we be worthy of the legacy he left behind.
Ahmad, thank you very much for this tribute and these very special words. We feel it very strongly all around the world.
Yeah.
So let's get going with our poem, our shared experience, and notice the rhythm of the poem, even in languages we don't understand, and notice the recurring word, Gaza or Gaza or however people pronounce it in their poem, because it's the one word that we will recognize every time. So we're going to go to two friends in Malaysia, Banggi Island, Dayang Kasimah, who I know very well, and your colleague Naimah, who I don't know if I've met you before. So let's hear If I Must Die coming from Malaysia. And Dayang, please switch on your microphone.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, David. Just brief introductions. My name is Dayang Kasimah, a very well-known friend to David, and this is my colleague Naimah. We are both teachers in Banggi Island, Kudat, Sabah, Malaysia. So this is actually my second time to be participating in such huge program, and I'm very flattered to be one of the presenter for today's poem reciting. So I'm going to present the poem in indigenous language in Banggi Island, which is called Dusun Bonggi language. Bang au mati ang Refaat Alareer. Bang au mati, aha mesti biak untuk suat kisahku, untuk jual merotku. Mamuli sembatu kumut putih malufit tali, putih mamalanggu, sampai sembatu anak Gaza. Semusak kelit langit memata muhak. Gait amaknya mulih tandi. Lemetak afi. Ndafa kusuat selamat. Tinggal guluna. Ndak dumak anakna. Ndak mak derina. Kit layang-layang. Layang-layangku yang anunu buat. Lemalu di hulunya. Masia ngira masa, mangkali layang-layangna malaikat. Bang au mati, biaran gak matiku, ngit harapan. Biaran gak nyawaku dari suatku. Terima kasih. I will talk in Brunei.
Hello, I will talk in Brunei. Mun ku mati, kau wajib hidup untuk menceritakan citaku, untuk jual indah-indahku dan membeli sebuting kapan, dan segulung budak di Gaza yang berdiri melihat arah langit dengan mata terbuka, menunggu indung muli dari nyala api sebelum sempat mengucap selamat tinggal. Indah kepada budaknya sendiri, malah indah kepada dirinya sendiri. Akhirnya dapat melihat layang-layang. Layang-layangku yang kau bikin terabang di atas kepalanya. Dan selama beberapa saat ia berangan. Mungkin layang-layang itu adalah malaikat yang mengantar arahnya kasih sayang. Mun ku harus mati, biarkan kematianku mengundang harapan. Biarkan hidupmu menyumbang cita-cita. Thank you.
Thank you, Dayang. Thank you, Naimah. Thank you so much for joining us late at night where you are in Banggi Island. And I'd like to just thank everybody for being here. People are still arriving. If it's comfortable for you to have your videos switched on, that's wonderful. So we're really bearing witness together. Understandable if it's not comfortable for you, or to have your camera on during some of the event would be lovely as well. I'd like to acknowledge that my friend Maurizio Montipo is here in the room. We hosted this event together 1 year ago on the 1 year anniversary. Thank you for being here, Maurizio. And now we're going to go to South Korea and my friend Alicia Dongjoo Bang.
안녕하세요. Hello everyone. My name is Alicia from South Korea. I'm an international storyteller. It is a true honor to be here today in such a meaningful gathering and to have the opportunity to recite the poem of Refaat Alareer in Korean. So, and I will perform these recitations together with the haegum, a traditional Korean instrument known for its deeply emotional and resonant sound. I hope you will feel some of the warmth and emotion in today's performance. 내가 죽어야 한다면. 라파트 알라리어. 내가 죽어야 한다면 너는 살아야 한다. 내 이야기를 전하고 남은 것들을 팔고 하얀 천 한 조각과 긴 꼬리를 달 실을 사다오. 저 멀리 가자의 어느 한 아이가 하늘을 올려다보며 불빛 속에 사라져 작별 인사 하나 남기지 못한 아버지를 기다릴 때 가족에게도 자기 자신에게조차도 어떤 작별도 남기지 못한 그 떠남을 바라보며 서 있을 그 아이가 네가 만든 연, 네 연이 높이 날아오르는 것을 바라보며 잠시라도 이렇게 생각할 수 있도록 저기 천사가 나라와 사랑을 되돌려주는구나. 내가 죽어야 한다면 그 죽음이 희망이 되게 하고 하나의 이야기로 남게 해다오. 감사합니다.
Thank you, Alicia. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here at past 1 o'clock in the morning in South Korea. And now, in a moment, I'm going to ask, go back to Imad and ask if Imad would speak the poem in Arabic. And after Imad, we'll go to Nizama Omerović in Bosnia-Herzegovina. Just a couple of words about the poem. Refaat Alareer wrote the poem, If I Must Die, in 2011, and he dedicated the poem to his daughter Shaima. And it was the same year, in July 2011, that the world record was broken for the number of kites being flown at the same time. 12,350 kites were launched simultaneously at Al-Waha beach in Gaza, a symbol of freedom and joy against adversity. So, Imad, would you speak the poem in Arabic?
Yeah, of course. Of course, I'm Imadeddin Almoudhan from Gaza and now in Exeter in the UK. I've been here for a month. I'm going to recite the poem in Arabic. In Arabic, it is called إن كتب علي الموت. إن كتب علي الموت means the same title, If I Must Die. So, إن كتب علي الموت فعليكم أنتم أن تعيشوا لتحكوا قصتي ولتبيعوا أشيائي وتشتروا قطعة قماش وخيطان اجعلوها بيضاء بذيل طويل من أجل طفل في مكان ما في غزة يناظر الجنة في عينيها منتظرا أباه الذي رحل فجأة وما ودع أحدا وما ودع نفسه وما ودع روحه من أجل طفل في مكان ما في غزة يرى الطائرة التي صنعتموها تطير عاليا فيظنها لوهلة ملاكا رجع إليه بالحب. إن كتب علي الموت فليجلب موت الأمل، فليكن موتي حكاية. Thank you.
Thank you, Imad. And Imad, can I ask you about the poem, but also about kites and about this day in 2011? I think you told me already that you remember this day. Could you tell us a little bit?
Yeah, it was a day organized by the Omerović, in which they invited all of the teachers and students to make kites in schools. We started making kites like a week before this event started with our students. Of course, students make kites better than us. It's like a tradition in Gaza to make kites, really. You find people all the time, just children making kites in the streets and buying strings, buying, like Refaat said, cloth to make these kites. It was an amazing day, really, to look up in the sky and see it's just like there is nowhere you can't look and you will see kites in different colors, and many of them were either in blue or in the colors of the Palestinian flag, red, white, green, and black. It was something, I know, overwhelming experience to be there, to witness how amazing these students can be, what they can do. And I think for the students, it was a funny day after all. They like flying their kites, they like making these kites, and they would feel so, I think, proud of what they did.
Thank you, Imad. It's a very vivid portrayal. And right behind me now, I've changed my image. And this is a photograph, a still from that day when the record was broken. So we're going to go now to Nizama Omerović. Thank you, Nizama, for being here. I've enjoyed your students' version of If I Must Die, but this is going to be hearing your voice for the first time, which is very exciting.
Thank you, David. Hello from Bosnia to everyone. I'm so honored to be a participant in this event. That's really a great opportunity, and to give support, our voice for those Palestinian people in Gaza. Thank you, David, for everything you have done so far. This is really great job. Congratulations for every moment you have done for these people and children. My students are really delighted to be a part of that event, and they really did great job. This time I'm here with you because they have free time, and I only want to support this project. And again, thank you for everything. I will recite the poem in Bosnian. If I must die, ako moram umrijeti. Ako moram umrijeti, ti moraš živjeti. Da kazuješ priču moju, za stvari moje, da kupiš komad platna i niti tanke, neka budu bijele, sa dugim repom, da bi dijete neko tamo u Gazi, gledajući u nebo, čekajući svog babu što u ognju nesta, a nikom ni riječi ne reče, čak ni svojoj krvi, ni mesu, čak ni samom sebi. Vidi tog zmaja, mog zmaja, što ga ti stvori, kako se bije visoko. I pomisli za tren, Dongjoo itu. Pracując luba. Ako moram umrijeti. Neka to rodi nadu. Neka to bude bajk.
Thank you, Nizama. Thank you so much. If you would like to speak the poem in this event, please do write in the chat, if you haven't done so already, your name and the language in which you will be speaking the poem. That would be really good to help me check everybody who wants to tell the poem. We're going to have a version in English now, and then after this version we're going to go to Professor Rachana Chakraborty in India, who I think is also speaking the poem in English. But before we go to Professor Rachana Chakraborty, in the room is my friend Kimwei McCarthy. Kimwei is a musician, and Kimwei is at an event at the moment and is not able to speak but is listening in. And some of you may have already heard Kimwei's version of If I Must Die, which is sung. This is a brand new version of If I Must Die with Kimwei, joined by musicians Lisa Rowe and Christopher Dance. And, well, I'm just going to share this video with you.
If I must die, you must live to tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings, make it white with a long tail, so that a child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad, who left in a blaze and bid no one farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself. Seize the kite, my kite you made, flying above, and thinks for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope. If I must die, let it be a tale.
Thank you, Kimwei, for this extraordinary sung version of the poem. Thank you for being here. So now let's go to India and Professor Rachana Chakraborty. Hello, Rachana. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I hope I'm audible properly.
You are.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure listening to all such eminent singers, poets, and I had just joined first time with you, David, sir. So it's an honor for me to recite the poem written by the famous poet Refaat Alareer. And it was just before his death. So before starting the poem reciting, with due respect to the great poet who had given a wide description about the story of Gaza's people, transforming the personal tragedy and giving that, preparing the people with that hope, with a kite for a child. And that resistance became the global anthem. So that is what we are here. And it's such a pleasure and honor for me to quote and to recite, get a chance to recite the poem written by one of the favorite poets of mine, from who has really instigated my feeling about the love of motherland. So with that note, and with due respect to the great poet Refaat Alareer, I would love to start reciting it in my own way and with humble respect to the great poet. If I must die, you must leave to tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings, make it white with a long tail, so that the child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad, who left in a blaze, and bid no one farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself, sees the kite, my kite, you made, flying up, up, up above, and thinks for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let bring hope, let it be a tale. So that was what was the main intention of the great poet who had instigated this feeling in the mind, the feeling of hope, the feeling of bonding, the feeling that one day people will be there with him.
Thank you very much, Racha.
Thank you so much, David, sir, for adding me to this genuine cause, which I truly, truly feel connected to me too. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much. We're going to go now to, if you are ready, Geraldine Nanjala in Kenya. Geraldine, are you ready to speak the poem?
Yes.
And are you going to speak the poem in Kiswahili?
Yes, in Kiswahili.
Fantastic.
Yes. Ikiwa lazima nife na Daktari Refaat Alareer. Ikiwa lazima nife, lazima uishi. Usimulie hadithi yangu, uuze vitu vyangu, ununue kipande cha nguo na mikanda, uifanye nyeupe na mkia mrefu, ili mtoto popote Gaza anapotazama mbingu kwa jicho, anayemgoja babaye aliyemwondokea kwa miale na hakumpa yeyote buriani, hata kwa nyama zake, hata kwa yeyote mwenyewe, akaona tiara tiara yangu uliounda ikapepea juu juu na kuanza kwa muda. Malaika yu pale akirejesha upendo. Ikiwa lazima nife, acha ilete matumaini, acha iwe hadithi. Thank you.
Thank you, Geraldine. That was wonderful. Refaat Alareer, I'd like to speak a little bit more about him. So he was murdered on the 6th of December 2023, along with his brother, his sister, 4 of his nephews, and he had received a huge number of death threats online and by telephone in the days and weeks before he was killed. His daughter, Naimah, was pregnant, and she was the one who many years before he had dedicated the poem If I Must Die to. Very sadly, Naimah herself, Naimah Refaat Alareer, was murdered alongside her family, her husband and her 2-month-old baby boy, a boy who had been born Refaat Alareer's first grandson, who he had never met. So shortly before she was murdered, she wrote a message to her father. And she wrote, "I have a beautiful news for you. I wish I could convey it to you while you're in front of me. I present to you your first grandchild. Do you know, my father, that you have become a grandfather? This is your grandson, Abd al-Rahman, whom I have long imagined you carrying. But I never imagined that I would lose you early, even before you see him." Refaat Alareer, as Imad described, a teacher, hugely inspirational teacher, a poet and encourager of young Gazans to write, especially in the English language, so the stories of resistance and hope could be shared across the world in this international language he wrote the poem in. He wrote a book called Gaza Writes Back. Well, he didn't write it, he edited it. So many young, fantastic writers from Gaza. And it was followed by another book, Gaza Unsilenced. And his legacy continues with organisations like We Are Not Numbers. This is a book that was published within the last year. Fantastic collection of stories by young writers writing about what's happening in the last couple of years. And of course, Refaat Alareer's own book, been published since his death. Refaat Alareer, If I Must Die, Poetry and Prose, his collected works, which was published earlier in 2025. A fantastic tribute, a wonderful book to get hold of if you can. And did you know that in 2015, Refaat Alareer made a TEDx talk? Some of you might have already watched it, but whether you have or not, I think this would be a really lovely place to share that TED talk, so you can actually feel that you get to know the man in his own voice. So I'm going to share it in 2 or 3. I think I'm going to share it in 3 parts. And this is Refaat Alareer, the storyteller. And I know many of us in this room call ourselves, we are storytellers. This is Refaat Alareer, the storyteller, in his talk in 2015 titled Stories Make Us. This is part 1. Call out if you cannot hear his voice when it begins.
Hello, everyone. Today, my speech is going to be about storytelling. I'm not a great storyteller to the masses, but probably I try with my kids. I brought Omar. He's my eldest son. I always spend most of my time with them, telling them stories, either about them when they were kids, myself, my mother, my grandmother, and sometimes we make up stories. And I invite them to tell the story and retell the story. Sometimes on purpose, I start a story when one of my kids is absent so that I can watch them retell the story to each other. And the results are always amazing. The topic of storytelling is something I am interested in as a Palestinian average man and as an academic at the Islamic University. Something that happened to me last month when I went with my friends to Gaza seaport to buy fish. Of all the types we have very limited types of fish, but there were still a few. I liked one particular fish. It's the swordfish. I don't know why. I went to that particular fish. I took pictures and took more pictures, and I almost carried it and asked my friends to take pictures of me and of that particular fish. One of my friends said, why this? Why this particular fish? I didn't answer. I didn't know why. But I felt this bond, this strong connection between me and between this type of fish. When I went back home that day, I started thinking of why I did that. When all of a sudden, I remembered something my mom told me as a kid, a story about a swordfish, in which a group of fish were caught by a fisherman, and it was the heroic, the brave swordfish that managed to free them, set them free. Apparently, my mom was teaching me patriotism, bravery, to stand for one's friends, to stand for one's family, to stand for one's homeland, to stand for, to struggle for rights, to struggle for the people around me, the ones I love and the ones I know and the ones I don't know. And so many other stories also rushed to my mind. One of them is the story of the cat, about a lazy boy whose mom asked him to go out and check if it was raining. He was too lazy to stand up, probably watching TV. And he said, Mom, let's wait for the cat. When it comes back, we can feel the cat. If it is wet, then it must be raining. She told the story to me again and again and again. Probably she wanted me not to be lazy. Maybe I'm not lazy, or I'm not very, very lazy. Thank God my wife is not here to tell you. But I also remembered stories that, other than the fictional stories my mom told me, real stories about me. And that's me when I was a kid. One of my friends was joking that if the people are not going to laugh after your jokes or your stories, they're going to laugh at your pictures. I don't know. My mom told me so many stories when Israel invaded Gaza, of herself going to school despite the fact that the bombs, the shells were raining all over the place. And one particular experience still makes my hair stand on end. She told me how she narrowly escaped death when she was going to school one day. And the other day, she woke up, she took her bag, and she went to school. Nothing stopped my mom from going to school. And probably for that reason, I have never, ever in my life missed a class or skipped a class. Unless Dr. Ayman Hallag is here, then maybe I skipped one class. And I started thinking of these stories, and I realized that I am the person I am today because of these stories, because of my mom, because my mom was teaching me values, was teaching me etiquette, was teaching me to love people, to love my life. She was teaching me to love my country at the same time. I started also thinking of my early memories, and I went to my mom that day and started telling her of particular experiences that keep flash into my mind. When I realized something that I haven't paid attention to before in my life. She told me, Refaat, it's impossible for you to remember this because you were 1 or 2 years old. And then I realized I must have lived these stories. Well, despite the fact that I can vividly describe these stories. I must have lived them through my mom's stories. So her experiences, her life became my life. And that's how my life was shaped. Stories are also important in our lives as Palestinians, as people under occupation, as native peoples on this land, not only because they make us, they shape us, they make us the people we are, but also because they connect us with our past. They connect us with our present, and they prepare us to the future. I also
Okay, I'm going to pause the video there, but it's wonderful, isn't it, to meet the man, to meet Refaat Alareer, and I'll play more of this video a bit later on if you agree that it's a good idea too. And this idea that I love this notion that he remembers the story as if he lived it, because he lived it through his mother's stories. I think we can all relate to that. I'm delighted to say that while we were listening to Refaat Alareer, we have been joined in the room by another man who knows Refaat Alareer, if he's still here, and that is Ibrahim Yaghi, who joined us last year. And I hadn't met Ibrahim until I met him last year, a friend of Mechtilt's, and Mechtilt invited him last year, and he's back with us again. Hello, Ibrahim, can you hear me?
Yes, truly I can.
Ibrahim, thank you so much for being here. And I know are you in Gaza now? So has he lost connection? Ibrahim, are you still here?
Most likely he lost connection.
Okay. Please, everybody, help me look out, and if Ibrahim manages to reconnect, we'll go to him after the next recital of the poem. But it's wonderful if Ibrahim is able to join us. The connection, as you will imagine, in Gaza is very unstable. Well, I mentioned Mechtilt, so maybe Mechtilt, you can step in. Would you like to speak the poem today, Mechtilt?
Oh, yes, sure. Thanks for having me. Yes. And just quick word, I've been so honored to meet some of his students, like Ibrahim Yaghi, who have become amazing poets in English and storytellers. And I hope Dr. Refaat Alareer is now in Jannah and watching over us in Gaza. Okay, I want to tell it in German. The title is Wenn ich sterben muss. Wenn ich sterben muss, musst du leben, um meine Geschichte zu erzählen, um meine Sachen zu verkaufen, um ein Stück Stoff zu kaufen und ein paar Bänder, mach ihn weiß mit einem langen Schweif, sodass ein Kind irgendwo in Gaza, während es dem Himmel in die Augen schaut, auf seinen Papa wartend, der davonging in Flammen und niemandem Lebwohl sagte. Nicht einmal seinem eigenen Fleisch, nicht einmal sich selbst, den Drachen fliegen sieht, meinen Drachen, von dir gemacht, hoch oben und für einen Moment denkt, dass da ein Engel sei, der Liebe zurückbringt. Wenn ich sterben muss, lass es Hoffnung bringen. Lass es eine Erzählung sein. Dankeschön. Shukran.
Shukran, Mechthild. Thank you. And Mechthild, our friend
sorry.
Ibrahim is now with us again.
Okay.
Ibrahim, are you in Gaza?
Yes, I'm truly in Gaza, actually. Yes, I'm based in Gaza, still in Gaza. Didn't move a bit, actually.
And did you catch the end of that video clip of Dr. Refaat Alareer talking about stories?
Yes, of course. He's my professor, actually. And the one he did mention in the video, Dr. Ayman Al-Hallag, he is actually my professor. Well, if I can spill some words,
Please do. Tell us, before you do the poem, Ibrahim, tell us a little bit more about your relationship with Refaat Alareer.
Yes, of course. I can tell something. As a student of Professor Refaat Alareer, I was profoundly influenced by his passion for literature and his dedication to his students. In the halls of the Islamic University of Gaza, he inspired us not just to learn poetry, but to feel it deeply. His classes were a journey into the soul of words, and his encouragement helped shape my love for literature. As a colleague, working alongside him in the field of journalism was equally transformative. His dedication to truth and integrity and reporting set a standard that we all aspire to. He was not only a mentor, but also a guiding light, showing us how to blend compassion and with professionalism. Today, as we remember him, we honor not just his legacy in academia and journalism, but the warmth and kindness he shared with everyone around him by his poetries, by his books, by his own writings. His memory continues to inspire and guide us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Thank you so much. And I'll tell you, Ibrahim, that there's another man in the room, Imadeddin Almoudhan from Gaza as well. Imad is now in the UK, and Imad told us about his relationship with Dr. Refaat Alareer at the beginning of this event, and there's a lot of similarities between what you're saying and what Imad was telling us. So Ibrahim, please give us the poem. Are you going to do it in Arabic?
I'm going to make it in Arabic and in English either, if you may, of course.
Please do it in both.
I'm going to start. If I must die, you must live to tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings. Make it white with a long tail, so that the child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad who left in a blaze and bid no one farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself, sees the kite, my kite you made, flying above, and thinks for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope. Let it be a tale. This is the English version. And this is the Arabic one. إذا كان لابد لي من الموت فعليك أن تعيش لتروي قصتي ولا تبيع أغراضي ولا تشتري قطعة قماش وبعض الخيوط. اجعلها بيضاء بذيل طويل حتى يرى طفل في مكان ما في غزة وهو يحدق في السماء ينتظر والده الذي رحل في لهب. لم يودع أحد ولا حتى جسده ولا حتى نفسه. يرى الطائرة الورقية طائرتي التي صنعتها تحلق فوق، ويظن للحظة أن ملاكا يعيد الحب، فإذا كان لابد لي من الموت فلتكن تلك لحظة أمل ولتكن قصة. Thank you so much.
We thank you, Ibrahim. We thank you for joining us and for sharing your relationship with Dr. Refaat Alareer and for sharing the poem in English and in Arabic. And just to make an exception, can I just invite everybody to switch on your microphones just for a moment and say thank you to Ibrahim.
شكرا
Thank
إبراهيم.
you,
Thank
Ibrahim.
you.
Ibrahim.
Merci beaucoup, Ibrahim. Thank you.
Aristume.
Asante, Ibrahim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Terima kasih
Hvala
Ibrahim
ti,
dari
Ibrahim.
Indonesia.
Hvala ti.
Wallahi, I don't know what shall I say for you. I'm the one who said thank you.
It
You are
really means so much to us, Ibrahim, that you are here from Gaza and sharing this event with us. It's
I don't
a
know what
pleasure for us.
I'm going to tear because people like you're the true humans. You're a true Palestinian. I'm not the Palestinian, not because I've lived the war. No, of course not. But you did live with us. You did force yourself to live with us, the Palestinian. You did force yourself to see the unimaginable things. Because of what? Because you've seen the truth. Because you felt us. I think maybe some of our words, like Refaat Alareer words, have gone to its own path, to the right path, to the right hearts. Thank you so much for feeling. Thank you so much for letting us write and to let you hear our words. Thank you so much.
Imad, would you like to say anything in response to Ibrahim?
I'd like just to thank Ibrahim.
Imad, could you
I was
speak
in
a bit
Gaza
more?
a month ago.
Use your microphone, Imad.
Yeah. I would just like to thank Ibrahim for his commitment and being able to be here with us is just an amazing thing, really. I was in Gaza for the last 2 years. You know, I left Gaza only a month ago, and it was sometimes impossible to find good internet connection to be in events like this. Good for you, Ibrahim. شكرا. بصراحة it's amazing يعني وإلقائك poem was amazing. I was telling him that his reciting of the poem was amazing and he did well. Thank you. شكرا إبراهيم.
Thank you so much, Ahmad. والله يعني I'm really grateful for you. بالظن يعني أنت عايش معنا فأنت عارف مصايبنا يعني ما فيش مشكلة. يسعد لي إياك أخوي.
I know بالضبط.
Thank you so much.
Please continue speaking Arabic. It's wonderful to listen to. Okay, thank you so much, Ibrahim. If there's anybody who hasn't put their name down already in the chat that you would like to speak the poem, please do. I know many of you I've got on my list in front of me, but for example, I see a couple of names where I don't know if you're going to tell the story. There's somebody in the room called Ali Sabri, for example, and there are others. So if you would like to, please put your name in the chat. And I'm going to ask Osembota Imutian. It's great that you've joined us, Osembota. And it's wonderful to see you again. I met, was it maybe last year? And where are you, Osembota?
Good evening, Dave. I'm in Nigeria. I'm speaking to you from Edo State in Nigeria.
Fantastic.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. I must express my profound gratitude to you for all that you are doing. And I must also say that I'm profoundly um, impressed by all you are doing, especially concerning this poem, a poem that is so awesome that it has a very important effect on me. It speaks of absolute sacrifice and the need for continuity. I would like to recite the poem in Edo language, Southern Nigeria. Are you with me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you. Please give us the poem in Edo.
Okay. Now I'm going to quickly read the poem in Edo. Adegamamirigawu. Okay, nuwegaramo. Numekina ta. Numekina hiavi mime. Nuya dupon. Keke vavi mi no fuanoma. Ude ubio uha. No revu na tie Gaza. No bau vuduhu. Ogbau viso. Ohera no pagariaje. Vinana mie omavi be edeyane. Vinana mie omami kinigbe. Vinana mie omavi mie be hiye. Bemi ni bie kaya na ku no kia veho. Kia uwe vego pane. Kunde angeli ogu salubwa. No hie ahuevon wakiowa. No re utuhu. Adiga mamiegi sukmiwu. Yamiegu vume orie igiutu kekibu gogore. Yamiege uhano. Natakiame tetemende. If I must die, I've narrated it in Edo language.
Thank you, Osimwota.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Good evening to everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Right, we're going to go all the way to Colombia. We're going to hear Carolina Beltran Sierra, who's going to give us the poem in Spanish. And after Carolina, I think we might go to Scotland and hear Jackie Ross give us the poem in Doric. So, Carolina, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hello everyone. I am really happy and honored to be here. Thank you to Fernanda, my friend, who invited me to join this today. I'm really grateful to be here in this act of remembrance, hope, and resistance in union with our people from Palestine, our brothers and sisters that are going through all this. So I'm going to read the poem in Spanish. So the name in Spanish is Si debo morir. Si debo morir, tú debes vivir. Para contar mi historia, para vender mis cosas, para comprar un pedazo de tela y algunas cuerdas. Hazlo blanco, con una cola larga, para que un niño en algún lugar de Gaza, mientras mira al cielo a los ojos, esperando a su papá que se fue en llamas y no se despidió de nadie, ni siquiera de su carne, ni siquiera de sí mismo. Ve la cometa, mi cometa, la que hiciste, volando arriba, y piensa por un momento en un ángel que está ahí, trayendo de vuelta el amor. Si debo morir, que traiga esperanza y que sea un cuento. Gracias.
Gracias, Carolina. Thank you. We're going to go to Jackie Ross in Scotland, and after Jackie, I think we're going to go to Tina Mtui in Tanzania. So, Jackie, please.
Thank you, David. Thank you for the chance to do this. And in Doric, in my mother tongue, the poem is Gynai Mundi. Gynai Mundi, ye mun thrive, to tell my tale, to sell my gear, to buy a bitty clout and some tow, to mak it fight wi' a long tail. Say a bairn somewhere in Gaza, van looking heaven in the ee, awaiting his feather for his left in a bleeze, and said farewell to naebody, nae even to his kin, nae even to himsel. Sees yon kite, a kite, my kite, that ye have frocht, fleeing up a bean, and thinks for a minute, an angel is yonner, bringing back love. Gynai Mundi, let it bring hope, let it be a tale. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. And now to Tina in Tanzania. Are you ready, Tina?
Yes, David. My network is so low, so I will not open my video. Sorry for that.
That's fine.
And since my sister from Kenya has recited in Kiswahili, today I will choose to recite it in English.
Tina, you can do it in both
If
if you
I
like.
must die. Thank you, David. If I must die, you must live, to tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings, make it white with a long tail, so that a child, somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eyes, awaiting his dad who felt in the praise, and bade no one farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself, sees the kite you made, flying up above, and think for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope, let it be a tale. In Kiswahili, ikiwa ni lazima nife, if I must die. Ikiwa ni lazima nife, ni lazima uishi. Ueleze historia yangu, uuze vilivyo vyangu, na ununue kipande cha nguo chenye mkia mrefu ulio mweupe, ili mtoto mahali popote alipo Gaza, akiangalia juu mawinguni, akimsubiria babaye aliyeangukia tanuruni, bila hata kuaga mwili wake, wala kuaga yeye mwenyewe. Aione tiara aliyonitengenezea, ikipaa juu mawinguni, na kufikiria kwa muda, malaika yu pale, akirudisha upendo. Ikiwa ni lazima nife, basi lete tumaini, na iwe historia. Thank you. Asante.
Asante, Tina. Thank you so much. I'm going to play the next section from the TEDx talk by Refaat Alareer. And after that, I would invite Fernanda Felix Binati, also in Colombia, but Fernanda is going to recite the poem in Portuguese. But before that, another section of the 2015 TEDx talk by Refaat Alareer, Stories Make Us. Do tell me if you cannot hear.
So remember my grandmother, bless her. Every day when we were kids during the first Intifada, Every day for years and years, we would spend the evening at our grandparents'. My grandpa would be ready, making the best tea ever. And the best thing about him was he would always add as much sugar as we wanted. That was the best thing in our lives. But when we finished the tea, when we finished the sugar, we would leave our grandpa and turn to our grandmother for her stories. Because that is what we always waited for, our grandmother's stories. And no matter how much more sugar our grandfather added, we never left her side. We never left her side because that was the best day of our day. My grandmother was clearly exercising power over us, was clearly competing with the fact that our grandfather always wanted us around him, and she always won. Our grandmother always won. Now, the serious question here is when our grandmothers tell us stories, they tend to inject these stories with values, with meanings. Sometimes we do this, we inject things, but our grandmothers, our moms, they speak spontaneously. They speak from personal experience. They tell us stories about their own lives. They describe life beyond the armistice line, for example. My grandmother told us stories when she was a kid, when she was a newly married wife who would spend months plowing her land, harvesting the crops. The land that now we don't own because it was occupied. Although the land is physically occupied, it still lives in our memories. It still lives in our hearts, because we can easily visualize this. And this makes me always think of Suad Al-Amri, the wonderful Palestinian writer. She said when she went back to Jaffa, she has never been to Jaffa before. When she went to Jaffa, she said, I could tell whose house was that and whose shop was that. And I could tell what happened to my mom here and what happened to my dad there. Because I lived these experiences in my own mother's stories. However, some of these stories are dying out because the old are dying, and also because we stopped caring about these stories. That is unfortunate, but it is true. We spend too much time on TV, and we spend too much time gazing at our smartphones. Even when we go visit our grandparents or our parents, we're usually busy gazing at our websites, at our smartphones. We don't care as much as we used to care in the past, and that is very dangerous. Now, Edward Said warns of this. If we stop caring about stories, if we stop telling our stories, if we stop listening to our parents, we create space, we create vacuum for others to occupy this virtual space in our past, in our heart. Edward Said says, history is made by men and women. And I love the fact that he refers to this, the fact that this is something made by women and men, not leaders, not politicians, not the elite. Because the history, the oral history for us Palestinians belongs to you, to me, to our mom, to our dad, to our grandparents, to your parents and to your grandparents. Because the oral history should always belong to the people, should shape politics, not the other way around. History is made by men and women, just as it can also be unmade and unwritten in case we just leave it and keep silent. And this also takes me to an amazing story of a native Canadian. When the colonizers took over North America, and they wanted to divide the land among themselves. One of the eldest approached them. He asked, "What are you doing?" He said, "We own the land. We are dividing the land among ourselves." He said, "If this is your land, tell me your stories. If this is indeed your land, tell me your stories." And of course, the answer is silence, because they had no stories. And they don't own the land. And it also takes me to Africa. And I love how talking about oral history and storytelling connects indigenous native people from all over the world. Chinua Achebe teaches us something. This is a lesson for us all. If the lions do not have their own historians, the history of the hunt will always glorify the hunters, will always glorify the occupier, will always glorify the colonizer, rather than the colonized, the oppressed, the indigenous, the rightful people of the land.
Sorry, I know you didn't want me to stop that, but we are going to hear part 3 in a little while. And I promise you, we're going to be finished before 6 o'clock in the UK time. So now, there's so many ideas. What a storyteller. He says at the beginning, I'm not really a great storyteller. I think he's just proving himself wrong. What a loss to the world. If I must die, let it bring hope. Let it be a tale. And we're remembering Refaat Alareer today through his poem, but also through the man himself. And thank you to Ibrahim and Imad, who've given us further insights into the man, Refaat Alareer. Fernanda, thank you for being back again after last year.
Yes, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much. Se eu devo morrer, de Dr. Refaat Alareer. Se eu devo morrer, você deve viver, para contar minha história, para vender minhas coisas, para comprar pedaço de pano. Deixe o branco com uma cauda longa, para que uma criança, em algum lugar em Gaza, enquanto olhando o paraíso no olho, esperando seu pai, que foi deixado em chamas e que não deu adeus a ninguém, nem mesmo para sua própria carne, nem mesmo para si mesmo. Olha para a pipa que você fez voando lá em cima, e pensa por um momento que um anjo está lá, trazendo o amor de volta. Se eu devo morrer, que traga esperança, que vire um conto. So my words are long live literature, long live stories, long live the oral history of people all around the world. That's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fernanda.
Well, may I talk for a second?
Yes, please.
Well, I'm really sorry for cutting you off. I'm really sorry.
No, that's okay, Ibrahim.
Thank you so much, actually, Fernanda, for this great reciting, actually. You are more than perfect, actually. Thank you so much on the behalf of every Gazan. Thank you so much, all. You've done great. Your existence in this meeting does embody every single thing, every single resistant word you've said. But I need to say something. Sorry to be emotional, but it has to be. Our stories came from our grandmothers, grandfathers. They've kept us. They did keep us to tell their stories. What they did tell us from stories, we have to recite it for all of the world. We have to recite it for you because it does embody our existence. And I need to tell you, I need to tell David, Carolina, Evera, Mitchell, Fernanda, every single one of you, please tell these stories. Maybe tomorrow I'll be dead. Tomorrow, anybody can be dying in Gaza. So please tell these stories. Tell these stories of your country. Tell these stories of the Palestinians. Tell these stories of every single thing. It does embody everything. It does embody our resistance. It does embody your resistance with us. I can say for you that, I don't know, what shall I say? Maybe I cannot speak more, but I think my emotions, my words can give a meaning.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being beside us. Thank you so much for speaking on the behalf of every single Palestinian. Thank you from our hearts.
Shukran, Ibrahim. This morning I co-hosted an event at Young International Storytellers at the World Storytelling Cafe, and we had stories from Gaza told by young people, and it was very, very moving. Even Hibba managed to come in live and share a story. So it's not just the poems, it's the stories. And poets like Ibrahim himself is a poet. Poets like Mossab, Abu Toha, Kaula, Badwan, poets like Mohammed Musa, and many, many more poets from Gaza, as well as telling the poems by Refaat Alareer, and this poem that has become a symbol. Look at the poems, they're wonderful poems coming out of Gaza. Look at the stories and retell them and recite the poems. Right, so now let's go. Fiona, would you be ready to tell us the poem in Welsh? And after Fiona, perhaps, I seem to have lost it. Is Evie still in the room? Evie, are you still here? Maybe she's needed to drop out of the room. Vivi, did you want to speak the poem today in Greek?
If you want.
Yes, please, if you're willing to. So first of all, we will have Fiona, the poem in Welsh, and then Vivi in Greek, please.
Okay.
Diolch yn fawr, David. Thank you very much. Dwi eisiau adrodd yn Cymraeg sydd yn ail iaith I fi. I'd like to tell the poem in my second language, Welsh, to recognise the power that language has to be a connection for all of us, all around the world, even when the words perhaps don't seem familiar, that we are all sharing and communicating. Diolch yn fawr. Os rhaid I mi farw, gan Refaat Alareer. Os oes rhaid I mi farw, rhaid ti fyw, I ddweud fy hanes, I werthu fy mhetha, I brynu dan o ddefnydd, a rhai llinynau. Oed iddo fod yn wyn, gyda chynffon hir, mwyn I blentyn, rhwle yn Gaza, oedd edrych y miwl llygad y nef, yn aros am ei dad, a dawodd mewn wen fflam, heb ffawelio ei neb, dim hyd yn oed I gnawd, dim hyd yn oed ag ef ei hun, yn gweld y barcud, fy marcud, y barcud a nes ti, yn hedfan uwchben, a meddwl, am eiliad, fod angel yna, yn dod â chariad yn ôl. Os oes rhaid I mi farw, boed iddo fod â gobaith, boed iddo fod yn chwedl.
Diolch. Thank you, Fiona. So let's go to Greece, to Athens, to my friend Vivica Mamaka. Lovely to see you, Vivi. And after Vivica, shall we hear Baden Prince Jr., who I think is in the UK. So first, Vivi. Vivi, can you switch on your microphone? Vivi, I think you unmuted and then I muted you again as I was trying to unmute you. Can you unmute yourself?
All
Thank you,
right.
Vivi. Yes.
Okay. Αν πρέπει να πεθάνω, από τον Dr Refaat Alareer. Αν πρέπει να πεθάνω, εσύ πρέπει να ζήσεις, να πεις την ιστορία μου, να πουλήσεις τα πράγματά μου, να αγοράσεις ένα κομμάτι ύφασμα και λίγο σπάγκο, καν τον άσπρον, με μακριά ουρά. Έτσι, ένα παιδί κάπου στη Γάζα, ενώ θα κοιτάζει τον ουρανό, με τα μάτια του περιμένοντας τον μπαμπά του, που έφυγε σε μια λάμψη και ούτε καν χαιρέτησε, ούτε ακόμη τη σάρκα του, ούτε ακόμη τον εαυτό του, να δει τον αϊτό, το χαρταετό που έφτιαξες να πετάει ψηλά στον ουρανό και να νομίσει για μια στιγμή ότι ένας άγγελος είναι εκεί, φέρνοντας αγάπη. Αν πρέπει να πεθάνω, ας φέρει αυτό ελπίδα, ας είναι μια ιστορία. Thank you. Ευχαριστώ.
Ευχαριστώ. Thank you, Vivi. That's wonderful. So we're going to go to Baden Prince Jr. and after Baden, can we go to Mariela Mondaca in Argentina? Baden.
Thank you, David. Thank you all. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
I'm going to read the poem in French, although it's not my native language or even my second language, but as a gesture to the international community gathered here today. Si je dois mourir, tu dois vivre, pour raconter mon histoire, pour vendre mes affaires, pour acheter un morceau de tissu et quelques cordes. Fais-le blanc, avec une longue queue, pour qu'en enfant quelque part à Gaza, en regardant le paradis dans les yeux, en attendant son père qui est parti en flammes, sans dire adieu à personne, même pas à sa chair, même pas à lui-même, voit le surf volant, mon surf volant que tu as fait ascendre là-haut, et croire pour un instant qu'un ange est là. Ramenons l'amour. Si je dois mourir, que cela amène l'espoir. Si je dois mourir, que cela soit un conte. Merci beaucoup.
Merci, Baden. Thank you. So let's go to Mariela in Argentina, and after Mariela, we're going to go to Maurizio Montipo Spagnoli in Italy, or from Italy, I should say. So Mariela.
Okay, hello everybody. Thank you, David, for the chance to honor the life of Dr. Refaat Alareer, and for the chance to learn a bit more about his great storytelling. I didn't know this video that you showed us today, and I'm amazed at his work, so I will look into it more deeply. So thanks for always teaching us, David. Si debo morir, If I Must Die, by Dr. Refaat Alareer. Si debo morir, vos tenés que vivir para contar mi historia, para vender mis cosas, para comprar un trozo de tela y algunas cuerdas, que sea blanca, con una cola larga. Así un niño en algún lugar de Gaza, mientras mira al cielo a los ojos, esperando a su papá, que se fue en una llamarada, sin despedirse de nadie, ni siquiera de su propia carne, ni siquiera de sí mismo. Ve al barrilete, el barrilete que vos hiciste, volando, elevándose, y piense por un instante que un ángel está ahí, trayendo el amor de vuelta. Si debo morir, deja que traiga esperanza, deja que sea un cuento. Thank you.
Gracias. Thank you, Mariela. Wonderful. And here is Maurizio Montipo Spagnoli. Maurizio and I hosted this similar event last year on December the 6th. It's great that you can join us, Maurizio.
Thank you. Thank you. I will try to read the poem in two languages. The first is my mother tongue, Italiano, and the second is as well my mother tongue, but a bit less known by me, which is the dialect of my mother and my father, Mudnese. Se dovessi morire, tu devi vivere per raccontare la mia storia, per vendere le mie cose, per comprare un pezzo di stoffa e qualche filo, per farne un aquilone, pallo bianco con una coda lunga, cosicché un bambino da qualche parte a Gaza, guardando il cielo negli occhi, in attesa di suo padre, che se ne andò in una fiamma, senza dare l'addio a nessuno, nemmeno alla sua carne, nemmeno a se stesso. Veda il mio aquilone, l'aquilone che tu mi hai fatto. Volare lassù, in alto, e pensi per un momento che un angelo sia lì a riportare amore. Se dovessi morire, fa che porti speranza, fa che sia una storia. The second language, Mudnese. Ça dovesse mourir, te e dev vever, per dir la mia storia, per vander la mia roba, per comprar un conet stoffa e quel fil, e fer un aquilon, pal bianc con la cova longa, axè un ragazzol, da quel post a Gaza, guardando al ciel in oc, aspettant so peder, cas le andenna flama, senza saluter nissun, nianc la socherna, nianc se stas, al vada al me aquilon, l'aquilon che m'è fat, voler là in elt, e penser un moment che un ansel al sia le, ar purter amor. Sa dovess morir, fa tal porta speranza, fa la sia una storia.
David, you're muted.
Sorry, I was muted. I didn't realise. Maurizio, Would you be willing, Maurizio, to tell us in a brief moment about your collection of the audio recordings of If I Must Die? And after you tell us, maybe you could share a link in the chat.
Of course, I'm the curator of an initiative which is called after Dr. Refaat's poem, If I Must Die. It's a multilingual podcast, memorial podcast, in honor of Dr. Refaat Alareer and the Palestinian people in their dignity and resistance to the colonial occupation, the genocide, the racial discrimination, apartheid, and ethnic cleansing of Palestine. So far, we have accrued a total of 272 languages, and we aim at least to reach 300. So if anybody that was telling the point today is willing to share their recital as well with us, it will be a pleasure to host it in our tribute to Palestine, to its liberation, and to Dr. Refaat Alareer as an inspirer, a teacher, and a man who devoted his life to train new storytellers, new poets, new writers that would keep the memory of Palestine and its just struggle for liberation alive.
Thank you, Maurizio. And can we take it that unless anybody writes in the chat that they would prefer not to, that this recording from today, I'm going to extract individual recordings from this recording and share them on social media. If anybody would prefer me not to do that, or would prefer Maurizio not to turn these videos into audio tracks and he share it as part of his collection, his tribute as well, unless you write in the chat, we'll take it that you're willing for us to do that and include your names. Thank you very, very much indeed. Is that right? Is that okay, Maurizio? Yeah, fantastic.
Sure.
Wonderful. Okay, well, we're coming towards the last section of today's event. We're going to have, if you're ready, John Liddy is going to give us the poem. After John Liddy, I'm going to play the final part, the shortest part of the 3 parts of the Refaat Alareer TEDx talk from 2015, and then I'm going to invite Evita Storyteller to be our final contributor. But maybe before Evita, there might be a chance for a couple of final words from the people in the room and from our special contributors, Imad and Ibrahim. So, John Liddy.
Thank you, David, and thank you for inviting me onto this program today. I'm delighted to be able to participate. I'll just read it in Irish, in Gaelga. Read the poem. Mas Godam Boss. Ma Coffig me boss, ni múr a bheith iad a gcónaí, chun ma scéal a instant, ma cuid rudaí a díal, chun píosa a ceannach, agus roint tragran. Déan bán é le chairbal fada, onas go méid leanamh, áit éigin I Gaza, agus ag fécant ag neamh sa thúil, ag fannacht lena ahar a dag I bársig, agus gan sláán a ágáil ag éon duine, ní fiú a fháil, ní fiú do féin. Fécin an etlog, má etlogi a rinne tú, ag etil suas chuas, agus ceapan sé feig nóméid, go bhfuil angel ann, ag tuairt grá I rais, má gád an bás, lig dodochus a hwrt, lig sé a bheith in a scale, Goramila Magwif. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you so much, John. And I've remembered now that there are promises I've made to a couple of people who sent me recordings in the last few days who aren't able to be with us at this event. So I'm going to play 3 versions before we go to the final clip from Refaat Alareer and Evita to close. And the first one of these is wait a moment. Okay, this is Yahya Razak. I met Yahya more than a year ago when he did a storytelling course with me, and Yahya has recorded the poem in 2 languages, both native languages of his country, Togo, and the first is Ewe.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yahya Razak from Togo. I'm going to tell you the poem in my local languages. I'm going to do it in Ewe language. This is the first one. And after, I will tell you the same story also in the second local language called Kotokoli. Okay, let's go. Ndulaku Udula no agbe Agbon nyanyi o Asanu o kekem Aple avoyeye kudo ekao Aso awu asike lobo Ne divio Koso Gaza no le po aben kuvimia nkuvila nyi paradiso nao ano te po wato ke no te po legia ano jipuda mani la mebenya yo mani wanto ikimio ano po wa request be cerf-volant nini cerf-volant ko ano chikbula yame ano po wa request be mau do l'avion nini atrosolo lonva ndolaku maso kakade jiva enyi nyagbon blon ke ibon langasia gamia akpena mi lo. Thank you.
And now Yahya Razak again, and this time in Kotokoli.
Hello, it's me again, Yahya Razak. I'm going to tell you the story, the same story, in my second language called Kotokoli. This one is from the north part of my beloved country, Togo. Asemaze, nanyonjo alafia. Namveri ramade tomwa, mve mu banawangona. Namu bisauro, namu nibire sinyarnane. Anyara nyarnak flumu, beka, kede su ibene. Nabia boy lele bayase Gazane abana bazanda bebena arjanna beka arjananda bebena badi bana malaikawa beka bendena cerf-volant kita temdalane mama zechuko inenge malaikawa cho bongo nada solom asemaze beka mogona desris chiri belam koso ande Thomas me veri me na mulesnji mezemi.
And Stefania Ganzini, wonderful Italian storyteller is giving us the poem in her native language, Friulian. I'm sorry if I haven't pronounced that correctly.
So hai di morì, una poesia di Refaat Alareer. So hai di morì, tu asti vivi, per contare la mia storia, per vendere i miei robis, per comprare un toc di peciot e qualche fil, fallo blanc, con tune guarde lunghe, così che un frutto di qualche banda in Gaza, che alanti il cil in tai voice, spettanzio pari che le latvie in tali flamis, c'è neanche saludani shun, neanche la socchiar, neanche se stes. Al po di iodi l'aquilon, il mio aquilon che tu has fatto, volalt in tal cil, e al po di pensare per un momento che lassù è un anghelut che al torna a portare l'amor, so hai di morì, che porti speranze, che sedi une storie.
It's so special to just listen to this wonderful poem recited in so many diverse languages from around the world. And what an honour to be able to host this and to be able to bring together you from around the world. And I know, because I've spoken this poem not only in English but in French and Spanish and German and even in Italian, that the process of learning and rehearsing and even the process of translating a poem, we have to look deeply into the poem. And when we translate this poem, we realise what a beautifully crafted poem it is. So I think it's a great tribute to the memory of Dr Refaat Alareer, what we're doing here in this project. And I know a reminder that the world is united. There is a strong voice shared among all of us calling for freedom and recognition of Palestinians as human beings with equal rights. So this is the third and final section of Dr Refaat Alareer's TEDx talk from 2015. Bear with me just a second while I get the right. Okay.
And believe me, people out there are looking forward to our stories. They want our stories. They seek our stories. And this is the very amazing success story of Gaza Writes Back, which is a book. Gaza Writes Back is a book of 23 stories written in English by young Palestinian men and women between the age of 17 and 25. 13 of the 15 writers are females. 13 of the 15 writers are women, are young women. And this again takes me back to the fact that my mom made me the man I am because of her stories. And my grandmother made me love my country, my homeland. And we have more women telling stories than men nowadays. Gaza Writes Back was translated into 6 languages, was published in America, and it is all over the world. Not because of the book, but because of the stories that the young people managed to write. We have been contacted from people around the world, as far as Japan, Brazil, people in Italy, in South Africa, people in Malaysia, in America, in Canada. We've been contacted by those people, and we spoke about our experience as Palestinians because of the power of the story. Let's tell more stories. And sometimes when we tell stories about our homeland, we love the story because it is about our homeland. And we love our homeland even more because of the story. What now? What should we do? What should be done? Let's go back home. And when we go back home, let's talk to our parents, to our grandparents. Let's approach them. Let's seek their stories. Let's beg them to tell us stories and to tell us more. And when they tell us stories, let's carry these stories and tell them to our little ones, to our kids, to our boys, to our girls. Because if we don't do that, if the story stops there, we're betraying ourselves. We're betraying the story. We're betraying our parents and grandparents. And we are betraying our homeland. Thank you very much.
A call for stories. Well, unless there's somebody in the room who is just deciding at this last moment that you would like to do the poem as well, and it's not too late, we're going to go to our final reciter of the story, and it's Evita, storyteller. And after Evita recites the poem, maybe we'll just have a few moments. If Imad or Ibrahim would like to give some concluding words to today's meeting, that would be very acceptable. So, Evita.
Salam alaikum. Hello, everybody. I'm Evita, a storyteller and a poet who usually thinks poetry in English. So it was quite challenging to put it into Swiss. But I'd also like to honor traditionally my Roma grandparents, who I've never met, but I feel them very strongly. And especially would like to start the poem by singing you into it in a language that the people from Gaza hopefully understand. It is a great honor to be able to try to do this for you and to recite If I Must Die by Dr. Refaat Alareer. Wenn ich muss sterben. Haza salam, falima salam, nudurtuntu, alimu kalbi fil manan, kalimun wa ada, kalimin wa ainu, tunjur humain, fi fadayin, fina fadayin, la makana lahu fi wujud, milala, milala, la, 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 la. Wenn ich muss sterben. Wenn ich muss sterben, musst du leben, zum meine Geschichte erzählen, zum meine Sachen verkaufen und zum ein kleines Stückchen Stoff posten. Und ein bisschen Schnur. Gell? Machst ihn weiss. So dass ein Kind irgendwo in Gaza, wenn es im Himmel in die Augen schaut und auf seinen Papi wartet. Der Papi, der in führenden Flammen verschwunden ist, der nicht einmal Ade sagen konnte, nicht einmal seinem eigenen Fleisch, nicht einmal sich selber. Es sieht mein Drache, wo du gemacht hast, weit oben im Himmel fliegen. Und für einen Moment denkt es, ein Engel ist zurückgekommen mit der Liebe. Wenn ich muss sterben, Lass es Hoffnung bringen. Lass es eine Geschichte sein. Milala, milala, la, 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 la. Milala, haza, salam.
Thank you, Evita. And I would just like to invite everybody to switch on your microphones and just to say a word or two, all at the same time if you like, about your feelings. I've got a candle that's been lit all the way through. This is in solidarity with our Palestinian friends who have suffered and, as Ibrahim makes it very clear, are continuing to face danger on a moment by moment basis. We all need to work hard to keep this struggle alive. And thank you very much. And then after you've said your words, I'll give the very final word to Ibrahim. So please switch on your microphones, anything you would like to say.
In our thousands, in our millions, we are all Palestinians.
In our thousands, in our millions,
Yes, we are.
all
Yes, we support Palestinian no matter what, and we are grateful that we've heard so many nice things about it. We're grateful.
Pray for peace,
Thank you.
believe in love, stand in solidarity.
There is light in the tunnel.
Free the bee. Free the bee.
Free Palestine.
Yeah.
We love Palestine.
Free Palestine for all, for everyone. Well, I would like to thank you all. I'm the one who should thank you all because you've stood here. You've spoken on the behalf of every single Palestinian. I'm the one who's telling you, you are a true Palestinian. You should be called a Palestinian. Thank you all. I'm very thankful. I appreciate your existence, every single one. And I'm deeply thankful for David, for meeting you all, for giving me the chance, for giving me the opportunity to meet you all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for supporting us, for speaking on the behalf of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ibrahim, this is a spontaneous request. I believe that you write poetry in English, and I mentioned earlier that today's meeting has been about one poem. It's been about If I Must Die. But it would be wonderful to look to the future and to request one poem told by a living poet with a future. Will you share one of your poems with us? And feel free to say no. We haven't prepared this.
No, it's totally okay. It's totally okay. Just give me a second in order to speak.
Because what you're doing by writing poems right now is you are passing on the tradition, as Refaat Alareer was doing through his poetry, and so many of us as poets and storytellers. So to be given a new poem or a more recent poem penned by you would be a great honour, a great way to finish today.
Just a second. I'm just looking forwardly for a good poem actually to recite.
Your poems are all awesome, Ibrahim. You know that.
Well, thank you so much, Mother. I appreciate you, Allah. Well, I've written a poem about about a precious person to me, Ismail Al, if you all know. He's a journalist. The name of it's "O World, Do You Hear Me?" O world, do you hear me? O world, have you witnessed what transpired? The voices of truth tellers are silenced. Journalists' cries for alarm are dwindling. Their cameras lie broken on the streets. Their headlines and bylines purred beneath rubble. My heart pounds with urgency, but I'll not let tears fall. The voices of our brave journalists, each holding the line. While at Dahdouh you turned your camera to Al-Shifa Hospital, Hind al-Khudri, you stood among the ruins of homes in Khan Yunis. Anas al-Sharif, you pursued justice in the crowded streets of Al-Jabalia. Hussam Salim, you cried out among the fallen in Jabalia. Najwan Samir, you stood firm in the allies of Rafah and Shijaiya. Tamir al-Mithal, you fought with your pen in Gaza City. Bayan Abu Sultan, you brought hope among the broken walls of a Shata camp or neighborhood. Carrying your mission, your courage. Let their pens be unbroken, let their voices remain unshaken. Continue to speak for us, deliver our message to the world. Comfort us with your voices, keep your vests on, and promise us that we exist. Keep writing, keep Gaza alive. Do not let the olive tree burn. Protect our land with your words. We need to ask who's fallen. We need to wonder why to feel this weight. A hand rests on the shoulder of my vest marked press. I look up and there stands Ismail al-Ghul, the smile mark maker, the smile maker, the voice of Gaza. He sits beside me, wipes away my tears. With eyes serene and an unwavering smile, he says, Abraham, they've taken me, but they've stolen something far greater, our homeland, our Palestine. Never lose your pen, never lose your voice. Take my place, speak the truth, console the children, let the truth be heard. Tell every single one of them, do not lose hope, do not lose your voices. I'm watching over you all. Tell them the truth. Prove to the world that we exist as Palestinians. We will miss you all. We will miss you, Palestine. But we will speak, we will write. Rest in peace, our beloved Ismail al-Ghul. Thank you so much.
Shukran, Ibrahim. Thank you so much. That was the perfect poem to finish today. I'm just going to remind everybody that this recording is going to be shared. I will share it tomorrow publicly on YouTube. So if you know somebody who missed this and would like to hear it, then you can share that link. Just check my YouTube tomorrow. I'll share it on Facebook as well, the link. And you can listen to parts of it again, because there's been a very rich evening, and there's also, I'll share there'll be a link there to the whole playlist. Thank you for being part of If I Must Die by Dr Refaat Alareer, marking 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you so
everyone.
much.
Gracias a todos.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Good thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Good night
Thank you.
from Malaysia.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Good
Thank
night.
you,
Thank you,
Tom.
Ibrahim.
Yes.
Good
Good night,
night,
everybody.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Ibrahim.
David.
Thank you all.
Bye, Vito.
Bye
Nice
all.
knowing all. Bye-bye from Malaysia.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Thank you, David, from India.
Welcome. Proper channel.
Ma salama. Stay safe.
Salam.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salama.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.